That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, God, it's a toad, son. It's a f***ing toad, dude.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.
Boom. What's going on, folks?
What is going on? We're dialed in tonight. We got a busy week for everybody. Plus, we got a lot of episodes we're doing over the next week or so. So tonight we're all just hanging out and dialing in from our each separate locations. Pete will join us here in a second, so they can do some tournament recaps for their Fisher Men tournament, where Pete and Trey took second place. So they'll go everything that happened there, and then before we get that, as we wait on Pete, we're going to recap some of the Bassmaster Santee Cooper. And then, maybe Pete jumped on right here. And then we'll recap. We'll kind of talk about what's going on with heavy hitters right now. But before we get started, we need to shout out all the people who help us make this possible and our sponsors. So make sure you go over to my website or OneCast Fishing's website, join the snagless revolution. Or the long neck hooks, soft plastics, use the code TheOneCast and save 10%, get stocked up. Now's the time to get those football jigs because they're going to be moving offshore. Even those flipping jigs would do well if you're flipping in the brush piles and all. So make sure you get stocked up there. While you're at it, and I'm trying to do this off the top of my head here, guys.
Go for it.
Make sure you go over to Hobie Eyewear. You use the code. The code will be in the description below. Use that link there, save about 15%. So there's Hobie eyeglasses, those sight masters come in clutch, especially on cloudy days, or if you're sight fishing some parts of the country, you know up north you may still be on some bedfish, so those sight masters come in handy. So use the link in the description for Hobie eyewear, and make sure you pick up a pair. And the best part of them, they float, so when you're going down the lake and they blow off, you can recover them, and you're not out a pair of expensive sunglasses.
That's right. And then before your next fishing trip, download the Deep Dive app. It's going to get you squared away with all the different water conditions. We're facing low water conditions here in North Carolina on some of our lakes. You're going to want to know that stuff. You want to know when they're drawing water. It has that information on there, all the inflows, outflows, the wind directions, bait tool selection, and all that geo data that you're looking for to break down a body of water. So you can download that on your Google or Apple Play Store, whatever it's called, and you can pay for that annual subscriptions, like $80 for a year, help you guys catch more fish. And also, you're going to move to Central North Carolina. You're going to need a good real estate agent. That's Terry Carpenter. You can reach him at carpentert@hpw.com. He's a licensed real estate agent with Howard Perry Walson and Caldwell Banker, and he's a bass fisherman. We call him Uncle Terry for a reason. He's going to get that boat in the garage and make sure it fits for you when you're looking for that perfect home. And then finally, our newest partner, we're going to launch them again, is WAYMIRE Distribution. They have everything boat trailer part related. They are out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Fourth generation ownership going on at WAYMIRE. You can reach them at 1-800-434-4824. Let me hold this right side up for everyone to see. Sam and his crew there are going to get you guys squared away. If you need new hubs, you need those boat trailer emergency kits, all that good stuff, marine grease, all the Lucas Oil stuff you can think of. Man, they're an amazing partner. We're so happy to be partnered with them. So check WAYMIRE Distribution out.
Speaking of this,
did we miss anybody? No, we didn't miss anybody.
No, we didn't miss anybody. Did you change your hubs out?
Yep, changed the hubs out on the old tracker trailer.
Yeah, I need to do that.
It was a really easy process. My wife and I a handful of tools, man, needle nose pliers, a rubber mallet, pair of channel locks, a punch tool. I use a little punch tool to get that cotter pin out because sometimes those are a pain to get bent straight and then pop through that locking nut. And then, just used everything that WAYMIRE sent me. Did the one side, made sure everything was good to go. And then the wife and I recorded the other side and did a tutorial video and then posted that on social so everybody can kind of see how I did that. Now that was for my trailer and a lot of trailers are built the same, but ran those hundreds of miles so far, and everything is nice and cool to the touch. And so, huge shout out to our boys at WAYMIRE Distribution for hooking it up. So fantastic. New design. It was kind of weird. Like when I jacked it up, popped the tire off, it's a different cut from what Sam was saying. And I like them a lot better, really smooth and really easy to get on, man. So yeah, super pumped about that. And then I put a new set of tires on because those cheapos that I bought back in like January, those things were already like gone from the amount of traveling that's been going on and stuff. So
how many miles do you think you put on them?
Dude, I don't know. Thousands and thousands and thousands. I couldn't even tell you. Heck, we just got off the lake today, going up there and laying into a bunch of fish. So that was another couple 100 miles at least. Yeah, definitely a couple 100 miles at least today. 4 hours with the driving for, 5 hours with the fishing. Love it. So what's up, Pete? What's good over at the crib?
Nothing, man. So, Trey learned a valuable lesson when he changed his subs, and that's make sure you have the right tool. So go buy a socket because you don't want to use channel locks to get bolts off on the regular.
Hold
so
on a minute.
You have the right size.
Hold on a minute. First of all,
Trey did not, but it worked.
You don't need it. You don't need it because if the previous person followed the instructions, those things are only supposed to be hand tight. They're not supposed to be ratcheted down, right? So if you watch my video, go watch my video on my Facebook and Instagram page. That is directly from WAYMIRE Distribution themselves. Like you can tighten it down to get that seated, but then you need to back it off with either whatever you got, right? You should use a socket though, because it fits perfectly. And then tighten it back on with your hand to line that cotter pin hole up with that locking nut, but it should not be ratcheted down according to WAYMIRE. But yes,
for the right job, so you don't destroy your stuff.
You're not going to destroy.
Good lesson.
Oh, you gotta have man hands. You'll be okay.
Definitely can destroy it, but no, that was just funny. It shows that you can be adaptable. But buy the right tools. It drives me crazy.
Oh, definitely have a floor jack.
And a floor jack.
A real floor jack. Yeah. A real floor jack.
Go buy a real floor jack. They're cheap.
Yeah, you can go to Harbor Freight, guys, get one for less than a couple $100. I always roll one. I've had to change a number of tires. We've had to pull over on the side of the road and help people change tires. So having those tools really helps not only yourself out, but your fellow Americans. So, but yeah, man, a lot of fishing to talk about. Figured we would kind of make the majority of this show the Fishers and Men recap that you and I just had, Pete, up at Carr, Kerr, Bugs Island, all three names lake, and kind of talk a little bit about the the anticipation, the suspense of what that tournament meant for us. But before we do that, I did want to talk real quick. June 27th, guys, if you're in the area, in the North Carolina area, specifically Jordan Lake, and you want to come out, it's June 27th. Am I off, Pete? June 27th, right? For the Hobie Jordan Lake cleanup.
27th.
June 27th. If you guys are in the area and you want to come volunteer your time, volunteer your boat, volunteer your labor, we're going to be cleaning up the shorelines on Jordan Lake. We're going to break that lake down in different sectors and stuff and assign roles and responsibilities for everyone to go to. We're going to be partnering with Clean Jordan Lake, a 501c3. They're a great organization. We got tons of partners jumping in on this to help provide support from, providing trailers, boats, protective equipment, all sorts of stuff. And there's going to be some giveaways and stuff after that event. It's just a great initiative that's going to happen across the globe that was spearheaded by Carl Jochimson. So we're looking forward to that. So if you guys are interested, check that out. We're actually going to be doing a show with Hobie here coming up in the next couple days. So by the time you guys hear this, that next one will be coming out the next week, and you can learn a lot more about all the deets with that. Also, check out the November tournament for Special Operations Bass Anglers at Lake Norman. It's the Friday before Veterans Day. So bring yourself, your boat, and maybe a good buddy or a family member. Come out and fish that charity tournament, annual Mark McCowan Special Operations Bass Anglers charity tournament. So That's the only two updates that I have right now. What was we going to talk about? Fishing. What's going on in the have any of you guys been following the 2026 heavy hitters tournament on Orange Lake in Gainesville, Florida?
Just seeing some of the
just
big
highlights here and there, but you know me, I don't care for BPT or anything they do, so I haven't watched it other than the highlights that pop up.
To me, it is a smash fest for big bass, but it is not a numbers event going on right now. There have been some absolute mega giant bass caught in Orange Lake. And, you know, this was one of those events that I still don't know how this works. Maybe one of you guys can explain this to me. How does a BPT angler qualify for a heavy hitters event?
It goes by your heaviest fish from every tournament, and the top however many guys fish the heavy hitters is. So they take whatever many tournaments they fish. I don't even know how many they fish. That's how little I pay attention. Do you know? Are they 6, 7? So you'll have 7 bass. Whoever, I don't know if they do the full 7 or 5, but basically they take your largest bass from each tournament, and you put a bag together, and then whoever has the heaviest bags are the ones that qualify.
Okay, that makes sense.
And Trey, when you're talking about like not a numbers game, like I brought up the score tracker for today. Like for today, so Group B on day 2, Jeff Sprague is leading with 74 pounds today, but only 19 fish, almost 4 pounds. Mark Davis had 73 with 18, but Michael Neal only had 10 fish, but 63 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So he's averaging. He averaged 2 pounds a day. Bags, today. So,
Marshall Hughes had 20 fish for 72 pounds, and then I think Terry Scroggins on day 1 or on their day 2 had 20 fish for 78 pounds. So you're seeing like mid-teens, but then there's some guys catching giants like
giants, like Michael Neal.
Michael Neal's been on giant.
He caught an 11-pounder, then he caught a 9-pounder, right? Am I mistaken on that?
Well, day 1, Group B, he caught an 11-pounder and an 8-pounder.
So, Mike, fish. I don't know. I didn't watch anything, but Michael Neal, here's Michael Neal. Day 1, he had 9 fish for 53 pounds. Yes, to day 2, which was today for them, he only had 1 fish. It was 9 pounds, 8 ounces. So he qualified in 4th with 63 pounds on 10 fish.
Unreal.
Yeah. And then like Takahiro yesterday got his boat stuck, and it took him almost the entire day to get it unstuck. And then with 30 minutes to go, he was able to get back out and catch one like 6-pounder, which put him back above the cut line.
Oh my gosh.
So yesterday he had 1 fish for 6 pounds that got him into the cut. 9 fish, 41 pounds total over 2 days. So there's a few guys catching numbers like in the teens, but there's some guys that are just straight up catching giants, it looks like.
Giants.
Although I forget who it was today. They showed John Hunter. I don't know if you guys saw that, but he had like a 10 plus. He got up to the boat and he reached down and he grabbed it and he went to pull it out of the water and it shook and it came out of his hand and it came unhooked at the same time and he lost it.
Oh, no.
It was it might have been bigger than Michael Neal's 11. It was a freaking mega dunk, dude. And he had his hand on it, dude, and was lifting it up out of the water. And it went, and you see the hook pop and the fish go back in the water. And he lifted up on the rod like to get tension on it. And he realized it came unhooked. And I mean, I would have thrown up if that was me. But
that reminds me of what I think I was watching a live, and Scott Martin had that like 10-pounder, like he had it in his arms over the side of the boat, and it came out. I think.
Oh man. Well, heavy hitters. I like the heavy hitters thing. It's good to see that at least they're able to get out on Orange Lake. And I don't know, for the audience, like we talked about it a while back, but that's Shaw Grigsby's home lake. He's from Gainesville, Florida. And that lake, it still is. It's extremely low. There's a lot of water that's missing from that lake. Not really sure what the big what's going on. Like we've heard rumors of there's being a sinkhole. We've heard it's drought, not enough rain, like, all over the place. But what that has done though, has created an awesome non-forward facing sonar, non-Coike ball style of tournament where guys are flipping big hydrilla flats and stuff like that and catching them with 65-pound braid, 5-aught flipping hooks, and big beaver style baits and stuff like that, worms and stuff. So from a just a different tournament perspective, like kind of old school, if you will, it's been pretty cool to watch. And I'm just like you guys, like I'm not watching the fishing, I'm watching some of the recaps and stuff like that. But like, man, they got some good footage of those guys catching some of those giants. And it's really only on a handful of baits. I mean, there's definitely been some topwater action going on. I saw one of the anglers lose a giant on a walking bait. It looked like, I can't remember who that was. He came up and then it spit the bait out. Guys are flipping. Some of the OGs, I think Mark Davis is throwing like a chatterbait around or a bladed jig of some sort a lot. But really it's an Ott Defoe's throwing a frog, or a lot of guys are. So it's just a cool old school tournament. It's good to see it happening on a place like Orange Lake because I got the opportunity to go there last year in March. And let me tell you, that place is freaking cool, dude. We started that day off with a 9-pounder. Seth Ellis ended up catching that one, and that really set the tone for the rest of it. And then it was like, there's just giants in there, dude. It's a cool place. Now I hope the water comes back up because it can be a really good glide bait fishery over those hydrilla flats, especially in the holes. But I don't think there's enough water on that stuff right now to really kind of have that kind of bite going on. So, but I don't know, man. And they run it like they run heavy hitters like the old school BPT stuff, right? Like it's Group A, Group B, then qualifying round, knockout round, and then championship, right?
I think so. Yeah.
So, yeah, congratulations to Michael. Who do you guys think is gonna? So the weights reset though, right? So who do you guys think is gonna win?
The weights have gone down pretty significantly, so it's really hard to say. I know that there was 2 guys, one in each group, that were mashing them on a Coike ball. And they were the ones catching numbers and big ones. So it's still playing. I mean, that bait's getting bit no matter how you fish it. You don't have to fish it with forward facing. It's like it's exactly like I know Trey wasn't bass fishing back when the A rig came out, but that bait is like what the A rig was. The fish have never seen it and they're eating it everywhere.
And when the chatterbait came out,
and you basically can't do anything wrong when it comes to that with that bait, it seems like. So
by this time next year, it won't be like that.
No, I mean everybody's throwing it right now, so the fish are gonna get wise to it. But you've got a window when those things come on the market that they haven't seen, where they just catch fish, and we're seeing it right now with the old Coike ball. I mean, it really reminds me of the A rig when it was winning everything and it was catching big fish everywhere, and crazy stuff. But I don't know, man. I think it'll come down to who can find water that hasn't been as pressured. That's what Takahiro was trying to do when he got his boat stuck. He was trying to get to some water, and he ended up running it on land at 40 miles an hour and having to get driven back to the launch on an airboat. And then another airboat had to go out and pull his boat back out and drag it back to the ramp. So, I think that Trey, you fished at Orange Lake's not very big.
No, not at all.
Pretty hammered. So I think it'll be to whoever can make the adjustments. And I mean, there's obviously a great group of guys fishing.
Here's who I want to see win. I want to see Terry Scroggins win, because I don't think he's won with those guys before, and I could be wrong, but I'd like to see an OG bring home or bring in that trophy. I'd like to see the Big Show win. I mean, based on his. He definitely has found an area with numbers, but he could have also like worn it down pretty bad. But if not Terry Scroggins, I'd like to see Michael Neal too, because it's been a long time since he's won. So, I mean, both Michael Neal's definitely around big fish. It seems like Terry Scroggins is around a little bit more numbers wise, but I don't know. We'll see, man. We'll see. I don't know. You guys have any ideas who's going to take that one home?
I mean, I think it's anyone's game at this point because, like,
Yeah, the weights will be reset.
the weights will be reset, and everyone's catching big fish. So it's just,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at it because 16 will fish tomorrow. I have no idea.
I'm saying Terry Scroggins. He's going to bring it home.
I mean, I wouldn't mind Terry. Even Bobby Lane
Mm.
would be. So we'll just see. It'll be good. But you were talking about some of those guys throwing Coike baits. That's what, when we flip over to Bassmaster, that's what Chris used.
Golly.
To get a century belt.
Polinick was throwing it.
Polinick was throwing it. Now, Polinick, I was reading, that's what most of his fish came on day 1 and 2. And then he ran out. And so he had some homemade, like, urchin style. And he's like, I don't know if it's going to work, but it kept working for him. Just not working quite well enough because I think he needed like 34 pounds on the final day or something to win. And with what Chris went out there and did all 4 days, like, that was going to be difficult. But But
I mean,
absolute slugfest out there. Chris Johnston, he was fishing docks, which you don't think a lot about on Santee because of the other grass, vegetation, cypress trees, and all. So he's fishing some docks on the main lake, but Polinick was fishing like cypress trees and dollar pads, and I think on the north side of the lake. So they were catching them pretty much everywhere. It seemed like
Santee was awesome. Like, I mean, the Bass had a century belt come out of that tournament. Chris Johnston, who won the tournament, but just watching how these guys, it's amazing to see how these guys have adapted so well to a new bait, and just, listening to Johnston Chris talk about like upsizing his line, going from 20-pound test to 22-pound test, and saying like, look, he's like, I don't think it's going to affect these fish the way that the water clarity is, the way that they're eating right now. And I'm fishing around treacherous like dock pylons and stuff. And dude, I think it was like the first day or day 2, like he had to go in the water for a fish, if I'm not mistaken.
No, he went in the water for a Coike ball.
Oh, he went in for a Coike ball?
So did JT Tompkins and several other people. Yeah.
So that's the real bass crack right there. That is the crack of bass fishing right now, because they're so hard to get. I mean, they're absolutely terribly hard to get, from my understanding.
Yeah, you can't get them. And everybody that's fishing them, there's 2, and I'm not going to say which 2 that are working really well. And it seems like a lot of these smaller bait makers and stuff that are making them, it's just not the same material wise, action wise, and stuff like that. So there's 2 that are working really well. And I'm not going to add to the hype. Go research it. Won't take long to figure out what they are. Mostly because I'm trying to find them as well. Because we've got some dock lakes coming up, and I'm going to throw those things around dock because they're straight up getting mashed right now. And enough people don't have their hands on them yet. So
I'm just going to go buy toys from Walmart, dude, and just start making baits out of toys and stuff like that. It'll be just fine. They'll have plenty of action. But yeah, you're right. They are mashing them. The Santee Cooper event, congratulations to Chris Johnston. I mean, the top 10 was minus Tucker Smith, had a bunch of OGs pretty much in the mix. And, that win gave Chris Johnston the lead in Angler of the Year. I think Trey McKinney bumped down to 2nd place, so he's definitely not out of it, because we saw that happen to Polinick before where he won AOY. So as long as –
but he's now 20 points down.
Yep.
So how many events do they have left now?
They got 3 events left, I think.
You got Pass the Tank, and then the 2 up north. So
in New York yet?
Yep. Yeah. So I mean, we obviously know you can't count the Johnstons out of any fishery, but McKinney's definitely going to have to make some big moves at the Pasquotank, and that is that a forward-facing sonar event or no forward-facing sonar event?
No, it's forward-facing.
It's forward-facing sonar event. Not that matters, because Trey McKinney can catch him any which way. He just had a
Champlain's the only one left that's not.
Yeah, because I think it went every other, basically.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah. So
Pass the Tank will be interesting because of and maybe you guys know. I've heard how
I don't know anything about the Pascatank.
How the rivers and stuff are fishing over there because
without they're fishing really good.
Without all this water,
they got plenty of water in the rivers. They're not even low right now.
Yeah, I mean, you got some mega bag, or you got really good fish that are coming out of those.
The question is like, where's the salt line at? Because we've been in such a drought, and like
they've kept the rivers flowing so much because of the striper spawn that it's still way out there. There's not going to be any impact. Yeah, they're mashing them from the Roanoke to the Alligator right now. I got guys that fish it every day of the week and on the weekends, and they're absolutely mashing fish right now from Chowan to the Alligator, Roanoke, the little and big Ethiopians. They're catching them in all the rivers right now. So
good.
It's gonna be a smash fest.
I mean, I'm hoping we get good weather and like the salt's not pushed up too bad. And
I hope it's blowing 40 and we get a 40-degree temperature.
No, I want to see some guys scope out there in the Sound. Like,
I want it to blow 40 every day where they can't even get out of the river.
They'll get out.
I mean, they'll get out if it's blowing 40 in that bad boy, they ain't scoping out there in the Sound. I can promise you that because it'll be 6 foot.
Somebody gonna bring next year. You're gonna see a center console skiff like 20.
The problem is you can't change boats. You got to use.
That's true. Boat. That's true. They can change it for next year though, but not for this year. But
it'll be a good one. I'm actually making it down there Sunday. I'm thinking about driving down, so
that'll be a cool one, folks. We're gonna have one of the Elite Series anglers on. I'm not gonna say who next week, and so that episode will drop before they head to the Pascatank, and we're gonna get his insight on what happened at not what happened, but how Santee fished, and how that may relate as a training ground for what's coming up at the Pascatank and stuff like that. And then we're gonna talk some of that Coike stuff because I'm just curious myself. I own 0 of those Coikes, and I will still figure out a way to catch them without it. I can promise you that. But if it's getting bit, it's good bait. So we're going to hear about that. We're going to hear about the tank coming up and a little bit of recap from Santee from his perspective.
One thing I'll say on the Coike that I thought was interesting how Chris was fishing it. He was fishing it with a treble hook, quad hook, lightweight. And we were talking earlier, you can get some of those treble hooks that have an eye at the bottom too. I want to see someone drop shot it.
Yeah, and you can drop shot the Coike. I mean, the thing about those is there's different sizes of the Coikes. You got the 19s, the 17s, the 13s, and stuff like that. And so, depending on what you're doing with it is really going to depend on what you want to do. Is going to depend on the size of the ball that you're probably going to use for that application, right? And so those big ones, man, they're really good as like a jerk bait style bait. And then those medium-sized ones, you can kind of do a little bit of both with them. And then those smaller ones, man, those are good drop shot deals. And, I got the opportunity to fish some of those. I don't have any more because I didn't really realize how to store them when I first got them. And so I just put them in a box, and that was not the right way to store them. I will tell you, it's probably best to either store them back in the original package that you got them out of with the little metal bar in them, or figure out a contraption to make. I think they're actually making, like, guys are rigging their back boxes a certain way. Like, I think Pete, you run that frog box. I think that's a way guys are rigging those planos and stuff to hold those Coikes and stuff like that. But
sounds like there's we need to come up with a story.
Yeah, and it really depends. Like, you don't want to mix the different brands because the different materials will eat each other. So if you're gonna fish them, you can only store the same brands together.
Definitely do not leave them in your cup holders.
I left 2 in your boat, so
yeah, they're in the compartment still.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely don't leave them in a cup holder in the dead of the sun because those little tentacles will melt off. On certain brands. I can't speak for all the brands. But you know what, dude? I'm gonna make that fuzzy dice work. That still gets bit.
Oh yeah, they eat
that still gets bit. I'm telling you right now. But yeah, so congrats to Chris Johnston leading AOI. First Elite Series trophy, I believe, outside of AOI, if I'm not mistaken. Am I mistaken?
For Chris?
Yeah, I think Chris.
Yeah, he won in 2020.
Oh, did he? Okay, so it's his second one.
And I think it's his second century belt. I think he got a century.
Okay.
too as well, but smallmouth. So he's like one of 3 anglers who's done century belt on both smallmouth, largemouth fisheries.
Yeah. So the Johnsons are a powerhouse, man. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it.
For years, they've always been right there. Except how did Corey do this time?
Corey top 10'd, I believe. He was out there on Championship Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. It came in like 4th or 5th place. It was actually cool. He was fishing a dock. I saw this replay. I saw this replay from his camera, and then I saw this. I saw the gentleman who recorded it. Corey was fishing his dock, ended up catching like a 5-something under his dock, and the guy walked out with a bag of breakfast sandwiches for him. He was pulled down, and the guy was like, "Hey, do you want sausage or bacon?" He's like, "I'll take bacon." He was like, "Look at this, catching 5-pounders and getting free breakfast sandwiches, dude." It was a pretty clutch moment, and the guy walked up with his phone recording the whole deal. And that's what the fishing community is all about. Like, it's good to see that kind of stuff because, you know, that dock owner, I want to say it was a business, and he understands how much money that the anglers bring into the community. You know, it's not just fishing on your lake and taking all your fish, man. It's buying licenses, it's staying at the lot, it's lodging there, it's food, it's gas, it's everything. And so it's really cool to see that compared to what, you know, Pete and I dealt with at Lake Murray a couple years ago, where we had somebody not so happy we were fishing around their dock. And that was the only time it happened to me, but it was cool to see that the community is going out and showing support. My wife even said she watched that video and she said, man, if I lived on a lake like that, she's like, if a big tournament came around, she's like, I would intentionally make breakfast for those guys. And I was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. So, but yeah, so congrats to those guys, man. Awesome event in Santee.
Yes,
Pete,
it was.
Yo,
let's talk bugs.
Yeah, talk about what you guys did to another what? Well, we already. I guess I spilled it earlier. You took 2nd place, so
yeah. So second's not first, but second is better than third.
yeah, especially
just means you're first loser, but it's better than being second.
Especially in the very tight point championship race that we're in right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was another tournament where decisions were important. So, Trey practiced Thursday, ran around a little bit, and sort of figured out a little bit of a deal that we thought we could catch some fish on. I took Friday off and went up there so we could dial in a little more. We found a little something else in the morning. We had some blow-ups on top in an area where I thought we could go catch 5 first thing, and they seemed like some pretty decent fish. Come to find out, Seth had gone in there and caught a bunch of fish after we had left, which is fine. I mean, it's it's not a secret hole, sort of secret, but not super secret.
Not secret to him.
Yeah, not secret to him. But we checked that. We checked what Trey had found on Thursday, and it was still there. So we had found a stump pattern with fry garter. I guess I can talk about it now. It's over. Yeah. Found fry garters on stumps in like 6 to 10 foot of water. Found some brush pile fish, and then we found that top water deal on a point where maybe Seth said he thought he had seen some herring up there. I never saw anything that looked like herring, but I mean, it's possible. It's just a timing deal. So we actually got off the water pretty early on Friday because we felt pretty confident. I think we got off around 12:30, somewhere around there. Fueled the boat, did our thing, tournament, meeting, great meeting as always, good food, chatted with everybody. And then we started the tournament Friday morning. We blasted off super early because the Cat Championship was there, which was like 215 boats or something like that. And they were down the lake from us, so most of them guys were going to come past us. So our tournament director was like, as soon as we can, we're getting out, like 6:55 or 5:55, 5:45. We're rolling, and we did. And Trey and I decided to make a super long run in the morning to that top water area, and then the other area we had found those stump fish wasn't too far. So we ran up there, caught 1 pound and some change on top. Had another one roll on it. Trey caught, I think, 2 short fish on a magic swimmer. and it just wasn't going down in that area. So we left, ran to that stump deal that we thought we had, and that changed. Carr Lake changes very fast. Those fish really weren't on those stumps anymore. We didn't see the fry like we were seeing. Pulled up on a point Trey had found and caught 4 pretty quick to fill out a limit for like 8 pounds. So very small limit. But we had 5, which was number 1. From there, we made a decision to run to some brush piles that he had found that we thought there were some better fish in. We called up, I think, 2 or 3 there from like 1/8 to 2 pounders. So a couple ounces put us up around 10 pounds. Ran back down to where we had started because there were some brush piles there that we wanted to see if turned on. I think we called the rest of our 1 pounders out on that brush pile, like 2 more. Yeah. We called out of there 2 more.
No, we just called 1. It was just one more. It was just one largemouth. Right.
Yeah, had 1 more that was 1 pound that we called out there. Went back to the brush piles that we caught 2 pounders on. Down the lake, caught 1 more 2 pounder. That was right. We caught 1 more when we went back the second time, and that's what did our 1 pound fish out of there. So we had a decision to make. This was probably 12. Well, it was like 1. No, it was 1 o'clock. I mean, it was like 1 o'clock. We were doing it 3:15. I remember it was 1 o'clock because I'm like, we got 2 hours, dude. And like, we got to do something. We don't need to keep calling 2 pounders for two pounders. Like the big fish aren't here. So there were 2 options. There's a public community area called the Graveyard that we could go look at stumps that might have some better fish in it. Or we could run down the lake to a little offshore spot we have that's in like 20, 22 foot of water. I'm not going to say exactly where it is. It's not a secret, but it kind of is. A lot of people don't look at it. So Trey had caught a pretty good one there like 2 weeks before, like a 3 pounder, maybe a little bit better.
Yeah.
So he's like, I know maybe we can get down there, catch at least 1 big one. So I'm like, let's do it, dude. So it was like a 42-mile run. We make it 1 o'clock all the way down the lake, right? We roll down there, pull up on it. It's a little offshore junk pile. It's some rock and concrete and just a bunch of stuff. It's pretty specific. If you don't know it's there. And Trey hits it with the forward facing just to look. We weren't pinging them. We weren't forward facing fishing. These fish were not feeding up. You had to drag shaky head and another key bait I'll talk about here in a minute. And we were like, all right, well, there's at least 1 good one on there. And it didn't take long, 5-6 casts, I think. And Trey caught a 3 right at 3 pounds to call one of the 2. So I'm like, well, there's at least 1. We didn't know if there was any more fish in there, but we kind of got the wind was shifting just slightly. It was blowing out of the southwest, and it was moving the boat a little bit. And we got to a point where we could kind of see down this long point that went back into a spawning flat. And every time we would look up there, you could see fish coming down this point. So I'm like, well, we got fish coming to us, like they're pushing out. They look like better fish on forward facing. If anybody that's used forward facing, when you're looking at 70 feet, it can be a little hard to judge exactly how big a fish is, but you could tell, we could tell that they seemed to be better. So we decided to stay, and we're going to die there. About 3 minutes later, I catch a 3 pounder on the shaky head, call out another 2. And that's when I'm sitting there and I'm like, we need 3s and we need 4s. So I'm like, and there's only 1 bait I know that's going to do that. So I picked up tried and true jig, football jig. Wasn't a snagless. They didn't want a full size. They wanted a little bit more finessey.
Small jig.
It was a little compact 3/8 ounce football head jig. It was actually, and I'll say it was a dirty jig. They call it like their ultra finesse. They make it in a 3/8.5, but it's a real small compact jig. I had to cut a jig trailer like into a quarter to be able to put a trailer onto it.
Yeah, I found them in the boat today.
Oh, my trailers?
Yeah.
Ones I cut. Yeah.
Let me try to throw these.
Yeah, they just didn't want the big jig. So I switched that, picked that jig up, made a few casts, and it didn't take long, and put a almost 4 pound spot in the boat on that. So now we have 2 3, like right at 3s. We've got, I think the spot was 3/8 or 3/9. We had Trey caught another like right at 3 pounder on the shaky head. Trey hooked a great big one. Like I didn't see it. He said it was 5. I didn't see it. I was grabbing the net.
But I was big eyeing these fish too.
He was big eyeing them pretty bad. The first 3-pounder I caught, we got in the net, and he put up. He's like, "That's a 5." I'm like, "Bro, that's not a 5."
That's what happens when you're catching like
exactly
right, exactly. And I said that. I'm like, when you look at 1 pound spots all day, like a 3-pound largemouth looks like a 5 pretty quick.
Yes.
So to Trey's credit, like, and I didn't see it. It very well could have been. There was definitely
it was probably a high 3.
Yeah,
probably.
3 or 4 pounder. Like I said, I didn't see it. It may have been the difference fish. We don't know. It wasn't meant to be. Wasn't our time. He lost that one. I ended up catching one more that was right at like 2.8 or something like that. That didn't help us because we had a 2.15, which was our little fish. And then, or no, we had 2.2 still at that point. And then we had about 10 minutes, and we knew we had to make the run back to the ramp. And with maybe 3 minutes to go, Trey caught another 3-pounder. So we called out our small fish, which was like a 2.8, for another 3. That left our small then was like a 2.15. And we just ran out of time. And what sucked was they would kind of bite and wave. It's almost like you get a school fired up. So I caught a small fish that didn't help. Trey caught that 3-pounder. And if we would have had like another 10 or 15 minutes, I think we might have been able to catch another one to call. But we ran out of time, man. And I knew we were like right around 14.6 on our scale or something like that. We ran back. I know it sounds super simple, but like what we did, it really shortened the day. There's a lot of time in there where I'm like, what are we doing here? When we were making that 42-mile run at 1 o'clock to run down to that area, I just looked over and I'm like, Trey, what are we doing? And he was like, what? I'm like, we just came up here this weekend and spent hundreds of dollars to run around Carr Lake with 10 pounds of bass in our life. Well, like, why do we do this? And he was like, because it's fun. And I was like, yep, you're right, it is. But yeah, so decisions made. Every decision we made, every time we ran and decided we need to move, we called fish. And then making that big move was really, really what put us into the fish that got us into second. And we ended up with 440 something.
1444.
1444. That's right. Yep. First place had 1534 or something like that. Yep. 1533. So just under a pound. And then Jeff finished with 1433. So they were just under and Brandon Parsons. So it turned out to be a great event. Took second, huge points. The guys that won were in third coming into the event. We were in second. The team that was in first finished like 8th or something like that. So they dropped down to third. We are now still in second, 1 point behind the team that was in third that is now in first. So it all comes down to Gaston. We've got to finish 1 spot ahead of both of those teams to lock up another points championship. So that's gonna be super fun. I'm super focused. All I've thought about all week. I haven't been able to concentrate. As long as we finish 1 spot ahead of each of the teams, we'll be fine. Or no, I'm sorry. The team that's ahead of us will have to finish 2 spots ahead of. Yeah. Then the team that's in third, as long as we're 1 spot ahead of them. So we're going to put a lot of effort into Gaston. I'm going to go up there this weekend, even though it's Memorial Day, and it is the absolute last thing I want to do. Got to go up and get a feel of what's going on with the fish. It's supposed to be kind of crappy on Saturday. It's not Memorial Day weekend, the weekend after. It's supposed to be kind of crappy this Saturday with chance for some storms and stuff. So I'm hoping that'll help keep some of the boaters off. But it doesn't matter. I'll get up there super early, be on the water fishing by 5:30, and fish till I can't put up with people anymore. Then just kind of figure out. I'm going to go shallow and just see what's going on. There got to still be some fish on the bed.
Where's fish shallow?
I mean, they were catching fish on the bed in Santee. Some of our lakes still got to have
100,000%.
Like, it wasn't on Kerr, or at least not where we were. We heard some dudes say they found some. We definitely didn't find any. But that is also
we didn't look all that well. But
it's also a massive giant lake, so you would have to. You would have to look quite a bit to kind of find those little areas. But yeah, that was the day, man. Super fun. Good decisions as always. This year have been. We haven't made a poor decision yet this year, which is a big difference between kind of sucking last. Well, we didn't even suck last year. We still finished in the top 5 in points and had a shot. But the tournaments we did bad in last year, we made poor decisions, and which was really only one tournament. And we made extremely poor decisions. And that was a lack of knowledge, right? And Trey spent time on that lake, and I spent a little more time on that lake, and we learned some different things in the lake a little better. So we were able to make more sound decisions this time. And we also didn't try to force what we found in practice. Like, we realized pretty quick that stump deal wasn't going down like it was, and it was time to change. And we changed and went and did something that I've certainly become more comfortable doing. It's still not my favorite way to catch them, but it's Trey's, and that's fishing, offshore deep dragon stuff. I can do it. It's just not what I'm going to go to. I'm going to always default to the shallow game because that's what I like to do. But having diverse skill sets helps us in those situations, and we made that call. And Trey asked me what I wanted to do, and I gave him the two options, and I knew which one he was going to pick, and it was the one that I wanted to pick. But I don't like to make unilateral decisions in team tournaments. I think it's important that you both talk about it and come to an agreement on kind of what you want to do, because we've seen teams get in arguments and fights, and they don't fish together anymore because one guy said this guy made a bad decision in this tournament, or Jimbo made a bad decision in this one and we lost because of it. And so we always bounce what we want to do off of each other. And I think a bigger thing is trust, like that we're going to make the best decision that we can with the information we have.
You bring up a really good point, Pete, and I'll open up to Ben after this, but every one of us, we got a pretty decent circle of friends that fish competitively, but there's a small circle of them that you trust. But even within that small circle that you trust, your buddy can give you information legally, give you information on an area that may be holding fish. But and what Pete was talking about with those two options, one of those options was going to an area that I've never been to before.
Yeah, me either.
The other option was going to an area I have been to before, and I felt confident that we could at least put one big one in the boat, like Pete said. So, sometimes, your good buddy who you trust through and through may give you what he believes is the best information that he has to find a big fish. But if you're not confident in it, or if you don't hit it at the exact angle that person hits it at, you're not going to catch those fish. And in my opinion, and the other thing I'll say I'll say one more thing after this. In my opinion, it was like, I don't know how to fish that spot, but I do know how to fish this spot.
Yeah.
Right. That one could have been holding 5-pounders on it. Unlikely, but it could have been, or a 5-pounder. But this one may have multiple fish that we can at least put in the box. And that's exactly what happened. So, I always take, it's not that I don't trust people. It's that I don't fish the exact same way as that person fished that spot. And I could literally go there and spend way more time than necessary trying to find fish that I don't know where they really are. And then I don't know how to, pie that right to get that perfect angle. And so I think that's important. Like when you're tournament fishing, even if you are fishing like regional stuff, like any of these trails, like your buddy may tell you, hey, there's a brush pile over here. But if you don't hit that on a southwest wind at this angle, then you're not going to get bid out of it. The other thing too, why we fished, I feel like why we made the adjustments we made is a lot of it had to do with the scar tissue I had from Lake Norman, right? Like legitimately during the tournament, you could see that pattern overnight went away. And that's the adjustment that I didn't make at Lake Norman. That pattern that I had went away, but I didn't have that offshore stuff that Pete was talking about at Lake Norman. I will never, ever make that mistake ever again. I'm telling you right now. And so we looked at each other, and it really the narrative of it was gut instinct decisions, man. Like literally, like, we would ask each other, are you feeling this? No, I'm not feeling this. Instantly, trolling motor's coming up and we're making a move.
And I think when we made the decision to finally make the long run, we both looked at each other at almost the exact same time. We're like, this ain't it, dog. Like we need to find 3s and 4s and 5s, not 2s and two 7s. Like,
right.
We've got to find those bigger fish. And it was almost like we both felt it at the exact same time.
And having the other thing that played into the calculus too was a 215 boat cat championship that went out the day before that you fished your tournament, and their second day is your day, your 1 day tournament. Like those guys that fish that championship tournament, a lot of them know that lake very, very, very well. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of those fish that we may have been seeing, they either got picked off or they got pressured to the point where they moved their fry out deeper, or they were done guarding fry. Like they were done. And so they made that migration pattern offshore. The difference is the caliber of fish where we were fishing mid-lake wasn't big. There was decent ones, but they weren't 14-pound decent ones, right? And so making that decision, it just really was a magical moment. And I got to give, I don't know the guy's name, but as Pete and I were sitting there, we were basically spot locked. We were spot locked. We were spot. That's how like we weren't scoping them. We scoped the structure, and then I was like, hey, that tree is the cast, right? Like make that. And that's another thing for you guys, that like your terrain matters. So you're spot locked in 20-mile-an-hour winds, and you can't scope, or unless you have a whatever those other deals on your trolling motor are called. I can't remember what poles. Yeah. If you can't if you can't scope them, you at least need to look at your terrain and say, hey, the dock with the red roof or the tree, that's the cast you need to make, right? Kind of triangulating which cast. But this guy pulled up, and I want to give him huge props, man. He pulled up to our right as we were facing towards the structure, and he watched us catch him. And he came up and said, hey, I don't want to get in your guys' way. Are you fishing a tournament? We said, yes, sir. He's like, hey, I have a club tournament out here tomorrow. I just kind of want to see what you guys are doing. We're like, hey, not a problem, right? Like the guy kind of clover leafed around us, and then every time we'd catch a fish, he was cheering us on. I think he had his old lady in the back of the boat suntanning. It was a good day for him. So huge props to whoever you are that runs a White Ranger boat. You were super respectful.
I hope you mashed him on that spot
because we absolutely smashed him in the face. And I hope he won his club tournament off that spot.
I do
because we were fishing areas, fish were coming to us, not going away. So yeah, man, it was a great deal. And I'm telling you right now, like I get nervous. I get a little nervous at like Bassmaster Open events, but dude, like Fishers of Men tournaments give me butterflies. They give me absolute, like my hands are shaking. Like when I catch a fish, like I don't know what it is, but like the team deal is so much fun. Obviously I love fishing bass. I'm going to continue doing that. It's a great platform, but it's nothing like a good grassroots team tournament, dude, where you're getting frustrated and your buddy's like, hey, shut up, lock in, do your job, whatever. And it was a great event, and congratulations to Larry and Preston Jacobs. I'll call them out, man. They won that. They won that event fair and square. They had a 5-pounder clutch fish in their bag, and we love you guys, and we're gonna come take it from you at Gaston. But hey,
better when you listen, you better catch them at Gaston because I'm straight planning on it, boy.
And
but if we lose to them guys or anybody that we fish against, man, like it's all good people, and we're not gonna lose points championship. Like we're finishing this thing out, but it's not like, man, I hate those guys. I really, dude, it's great about the organization. Like people celebrate each other. And Bass Math, I was a little off on because I didn't think they had enough to pull ahead of us, and they didn't either because Preston came up to me. He was like, y'all are going to be hard to catch now. And I was like, yeah, I think we'll be in pretty good shape. And then when I looked later, I was like, son of a gun, they got us by a point. And which was cool, man. So it makes for a little bit more excitement going into it because that's a pretty cool payday, a pretty good payday to win that. But more importantly, it puts us in the national championship again.
Where's the championship at next year?
I don't know if they've announced it, but I think it's on Lake Erie.
What?
Yeah, I hope it's on Lake Erie.
Yeah, because this year it was on Toledo Bend, and the guys that won the point, the JD and his partner that won the points championship for our division, they had man, they had a tough go down at Toledo Bend. They blew our lower unit on day 2, so they couldn't get back on day 3 or blew their lower unit on day 3, couldn't get back to weigh-in or whatever. I can't remember what happened, but they had a real tough go. But man, those young men, they are, dude, they're hard to compete against. I'm going to tell you that right now, right? They definitely have their strengths. We use our strengths against their weaknesses. That's for sure. So you got to make it count when those kids are out there or when those young men are out there. But they won 2025 AOI, and hopefully Pete and I can come back around. And, we got the 2024 one. They won last year. We're trying to bring it back to the OneCast here in 2026. So it'll be a really fun event. I'm looking forward to, man. And, oh man, I am nervous. I'm like in a good way. Like I'm super nervous, but I'm super pumped about it. So
yes, sir.
But Fishers and Men's Ministry, guys, like, listen, like if you are thinking about joining a competitive bass fishing trail, whether or not it's a local club, or the difference is, and I will say this because I've been a part of a club. I've also fished like cat stuff and PBC when it existed and all. The biggest thing that I will say about the Fishers and Men, A, it's a ministry. B, it's a nonprofit organization. And C, the camaraderie is unlike anything that I've ever seen before in bass fishing. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of clubs out there that have the same exact camaraderie, and I don't want you to steer away from them. But if you are looking to fish against probably some of the best in your region with really good intentions and good payouts. And they got great payouts. I mean, you can't even compare their payouts to a lot of other organizations. Fishers and Men has been, unless something drastically changes, I can't see myself not fishing Fishers and Men. I will say that. So great organization, and a huge shout out to Dale Morgan from the North Carolina Central Classic Division. He does a fantastic job, and we really appreciate those guys there. So yeah, we're sitting in second in AOI, and we took second place at Carr Lake, or Bugs Island as the Virginians call it. And we got one more to go to lock in for the points.
One more.
That's
one more
it.
again, man.
One more again. Let's do it. But that's all I got for this evening, guys. Ben, do you got any questions about the Carr Lake tournament before we jump off here?
I don't think questions. I did want to the point you made about when you guys had the decision to make about going to an area that probably had fish because your buddies that I told you and all, but you'd never been there. And it's not just about cast angle like you're talking about. If you'd ever been there and you're not familiar with it, and you don't know how it sets up, like you may have been fishing with the wind at a completely different direction or a slightly different direction. And depending on the structure, those fish can move around and all. And if you haven't been there to kind of scope it out and kind of expand it, like you're going to be fishing probably a lot of dead water in that sense. Like the fish are probably around, right? If assuming that's correct information, and he could be like right on the spot or area he told you, but they could shift and move, and you could spin it. You could, without a lot of time, you can spin out pretty fast. And it's one thing like during practice, you're communicating with your buddies, or you get intel from your buddies that, okay, fish are in this area. This is how I'm doing it. And you practice, you can kind of figure that out. Then you can adjust on a tournament day. But that's awful risky during a tournament with little time left to go to a random spot. Unless it's like, I'm at this spot, and your buddy's like, I got all the fish I need. Like, come fish right next to me type of deal.
Right.
So
No, you're spot on, Ben. And that's the one thing that, Pete never fished. No, he has fished that spot before, I believe, like years ago. The one thing that I understand about that spot is when I was out there a couple weeks ago before that, it was the exact same wind conditions, the same exact southwest wind. And what I was seeing with my wife out there was the way that these fish were positioning. And then examining the fish that you catch off there is very important too. And I noticed that every single one of them were post spawn fish, right? So that I was like, a southwest wind is positioning this fish to where they're setting up on this type of structure and they're post spawn, and they're so post spawn that they're eating, right? They're not like brand new post spawn funky fish.
No,
which that would have been in a different location anyways. This is a true offshore. They will be there for the rest of the year spot because there's nowhere else they're probably going to go unless they go float, right? And so we had that exact same wind, the same exact bright bluebird skies. The one thing I will say that Pete made an adjustment on, because of how windy it was, is he upsized his weight on his shaky head. Once he did that, it wasn't, I think it was that cast that he got bit. And I had 2 of those identical baits and I cut one off and I instantly upsized my weight. I was like, okay, I'm not stupid. Like, it takes a 1/4 ounce 20 seconds longer to get down there than the 3/8 ounce. I'm going to cut that off because the wind, I'm going to put a 3/8 ounce. As soon as I put that 3/8 ounce, donk, right? The first one came off 1/4. Then the wind started really doing its deal. And also, maneuvering through sailboats on that place is not fun, by the way.
Yeah, there's like 974.
There's a 215 boat cat championship, apparently some massive sailboat race going on, and then recreational angling. So, and then 20-something it felt like 20-something mile an hour winds to me out of the southwest. Yeah, Bo, that aluminum boat, she was getting it. She was getting it hard. But you know what? We stuck with it. We made good decisions. We put another plaque on the wall, some money in the pocket, but we had a great time doing it. And man, I couldn't be more proud of that. That was our best Fishers of Men tournament finish in 3 years. Our best finish in a tournament, right?
Yeah. We've been third.
We've lived in the thirds.
Third to fifth. It's where we've lived.
So we're right where we need to be. We got a lot of confidence going on stop number 5, which is Lake Gaston.
That was the one, Carr, Bugs Island, whatever you call it, wherever you're from. That was definitely the one I was most worried about.
Yeah.
It's just we have the least amount of experience on.
About Gaston.
No, I mean, you know what I mean. Like we know enough about Gaston. We've got enough history there where I think we can put something together. Kerr, we don't have a ton of experience on, especially not this time of year. Like, yeah, you spend a lot of time out there, but you spend a lot of time there in like January and February, and
also a lot bigger.
Yeah, and it's also just a big lake, and it's one where a bad decision can really screw you, and you could easily be 3 or 4 fish for 4 pounds and really hurt yourself, take yourself out of it. So to come away of the event that every year I kind of have circled as the one I'm most worried about with a second, like, yeah, I mean, you can't ask for anything to go more right other than Trey not losing another great big one and costing us maybe one, you know. But, no, I'm just kidding, man. It wasn't our time, and we talk about it all the time. Like, when it's your time, it's your time. And man, when you're fishing in 20 foot of water, sometimes fish just come off.
Oh, yeah.
But it was it was a super fun one. That was one of my more not that wasn't bed fishing. That was one of the more fun derbies I think we had, especially when we started whacking the big ones. It's at the end of the day there.
I'll say, I know we're going a little over an hour here, but we've had this happen. We had this happen at Falls Lake, where we went from like 9-10 pounds in the live well to making a decision to run down the lake, not nearly as far because Falls is not that big. And we put 18, almost 19 pounds in the box within the last 2 hours. We didn't do it last minute, but we made a move at the last tournament, and we went from, one fish in the box to almost 17 pounds in the box in the matter of like 40 minutes. So, and then I don't even
Mayo, we completely changed what we were doing.
Yeah, we totally just went 180, right?
It wasn't working what we thought was going to work, and we made a complete change, and that was another third place, I think.
So where else did we have a tournament? Oh, Jordan. I mean, Jordan, we went with our plan at Jordan. Jordan was kind of like we went with our plan. Like we knew that was going to work. We had a 4th place finish there. So that one was about the only one this year, but we still had to adjust at that lake.
We did.
We had to find new fish during the tournament, and we had to make those adjustments accordingly, and we had to bypass fish that wouldn't even have helped us out. So yeah, it's been a good so far. 2026 has been a good year, man. I'm looking forward to the last event, and looking forward to these upcoming shows. And if you're new to the show, we appreciate you guys' support. If you've been with us for a long time, we appreciate your continued support. Keep following along with us. Ben, Pete, you guys got anything?
The only thing I have is Tennessee now has a new state record largemouth.
What?
Oh yeah, they caught it a few months ago. May
11th.
May 11th. What'd they get? 17 pounder?
Oh,
15,
hang on.
I think it was 15 something.
Oh, maybe. Okay, maybe it was earlier in the year because
they caught it a few months ago. It just finally. I'm going through all of the
15.75.
They just finally went through all the background stuff they got to do and all that to certify it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hopefully we catch
February 28th. That's when it was.
We're going to catch a North Carolina / Virginia state record spotted bass and largemouth when we go there for our last event.
A 9-2 spot.
Good gracious, man. Well, guys, it's been fun talking fishing and stuff like that. We got a busy week and stuff. We appreciate everyone. Good luck to by the time you guys hear this, you'll know who the heavy hitters victor is. I'm hoping the Big Show himself. And congratulations to Chris Johnston. He's probably under a lot of suspense too, man. He's never he's won an AOI before, so he's looking at potentially doing it again. So appreciate everyone following along, and support all those organizations that we shouted out at the beginning, and support our brothers and sisters in arms, especially Special Operations Bass Anglers, and help us to continue growing a culture of anglers helping anglers one cast at a time.